Hi everyone, my name is Jamisha Nagjilan and I'll be presenting part 1 of our analysis, which compares the relative frequency and cumulative relative frequency of customer satisfaction score and customer retention rate. So the two tables compare the distributions of customer satisfaction scores and customer retention rates from 30 local businesses. In the first table, most businesses scored highly in customer satisfaction. The majority fall between 85 to 89% and 90 to 94% with relative frequencies of 30% and 23% respectively. So the cumulative relative frequency shows that 77% of businesses score 85% or above. This indicates a negatively skewed distribution, meaning most businesses are doing well in satisfying their customers. So in contrast, the second table on customer retention shows different patterns. The data is more spread out with the highest number of businesses, 8 out of 30, falling in the 70 to 74% range. Only 3 businesses managed to retain customer at a high rate of 85 to 89%. The cumulative relative frequency increases more slowly and only 10% of businesses reach the top retention tier. This indicates a positively skewed distribution where many businesses are struggling to retain customers long term. So next one is the histogram for customer satisfaction score, which is negatively skewed. So which means the data leans toward higher satisfaction score. This tells us that most businesses are doing well in delivering quality products and services. So most of the 30 businesses have satisfaction scores between 85 to 94%. So this shows that many customers are happy with their experience. Now let's look at the customer retention rate. In contrast, most customer retention rate value fall between 60 to 79%, and only a few businesses have a retention rate above 90%. The histogram for customer retention rate is positively skewed, meaning that more businesses have lower retention rates. So this shows a key point where higher customer satisfaction does not always lead to high customer retention. Even though customers are satisfied at the time of purchase, they may not come back in the future.
Let's begin with the mean, also known as the average. So to calculate the mean, we add up all the value and then divide the total by the number of observation. In this case, we had 30 business. So for customer satisfaction score, the total score is 2,527 divided by 30, we get 84.23%. Next, for customer retention rate, the total score is 2,222. After we divide by 30, the answer is 74.07% for the mean. This tells us that, on average, customers are quite satisfied with their experience, but fewer of them stay loyal over time. Next, we have the median, which is the middle value in a data set when arranged in ascending order. Since we have an even number of value, which is 30, the median is calculated by averaging the 15 and the 16 value. Okay, so for customer satisfaction, the middle value are 85 and 85. So the median is 85 plus 85 divide 2, and the answer is 85%. Then for customer retention, the middle value are 74 and 74. So the median is 74 plus 74 divided by 2, and we get 74%. This support our yearly finding, which is the typical business performs better in satisfying customer than in retaining them. Now, let's look at the mood, which is the value that appears most frequently for customer satisfaction. The most frequent value are 85 and 88, both appearing 4 times. So this suggests that many businesses consistently achieve high satisfaction. For customer retention, the most frequent value are 68 and 80, both appearing 3 times. This shows that retention scores are more spread out and less consistent across business. In conclusion, satisfaction alone is not enough to keep customer coming back. Businesses must build strong relationship, give extra value, and create reasons for loyalty. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hello everyone. For part 3, I'll be explaining the outlier analysis for customer satisfaction score first. Calculate the percentile location using formula LP equal to n plus 1 times P over 100. This formula is to find the exact position of percentile in a sorted dataset. N is the number of data point and P is the desired percentile. Since we have 30 data points, we apply the formula to get the position for Q1 is 79.75, Q2 or median is 85 and Q3 is 89.25. Next, we calculate the interquartile range IQR, which is quartile 3 minus quartile 1. So 89.25 minus 79.75 equal to 9.5. Then, to find the potential outliers, the lower bound is quartile 1 minus 1.5 times IQR, we get 65.5, and the upper bound is quartile 3 plus 1.5 times IQR, we get 104. So, any data below 65.5 or above 104 is considered an outlier. Based on our data, there's no outlier in customer satisfaction score. Next, for customer retention rate, we follow the same process. Using the percentile formula, we get quartile 1 equal to 68, quartile 2 equal to 74, and quartile 3 equal to 80. The IQR here is 80 minus 68, we get 12. Then, we find the outlier boundaries. The lower bound is equal to 50 and the upper bound is equal to 98. So, any data below 50 or above 98 is an outlier. Again, no outliers were found for customer retention rate either. Lastly, we compare both metrics using a box plot. On the left, we have the customer satisfaction score. It has a median of 85 and slightly skewed to the left because the left whisker is longer than the right. This tells that more businesses score high, but a few scored lower. On the right is the customer retention rate. The median is 74 and the plot appears more symmetric. Both whiskers are about equal, indicating that the data is more evenly distributed around the median. In summary, customer satisfaction score tends to be slightly negatively skewed, while customer retention rate is more symmetrical. Both data sets have no outliers and relatively consistent.
Hello, my name is Nicole and I will be presenting part 4 of our analysis, which focuses on the measure of depression for two key customer metrics. This measure helps us understand how consistent or varied the performance of businesses is across the 30 local companies in our dataset. Depression refers to the spread or variability of the data. In another word, how far the individual values are from the average. We calculated four main measures of depression, which is range, variance, standard deviation, and coefficient of variation. First, let's look at the range, which simply show the difference between the highest and the lowest values. For customer satisfaction, the range is 23% points from a low of 70% to a high of 93%. Meanwhile, customer retention has a larger range of 28 percentage points, ranging from 60% to 88%. This suggests that retention rate differ more widely from one business to another compared to satisfaction score. Next, we calculated the variance and standard deviation, which give us a more detailed picture of variability. The variance for customer satisfaction is approximately 35.98 with a standard deviation of 6%. For customer retention, the variance is higher at 49.17 and the standard deviation is also higher at 7.01%. This tells us that although businesses may be doing relatively well in achieving customer satisfaction, their performance in customer retention is more inconsistent. Retention score tend to be more spread out around the average. To fairly compare the two metrics despite their difference mean, we use the coefficient of variation or CV. CV express the standard deviation as a percentage of the mean. For customer satisfaction, the CV is 0.07%, while for the customer retention is 0.09. This reinforces the idea that retention rate vary more widely relative to their average compared to satisfaction score. In simpler terms, satisfaction is more predictable, but retention is more volatile. Some companies are able to keep their customer, while others struggle despite having high satisfaction score. So, what can we conclude is the data clearly show that it's one thing to make customer happy and another to actually keep them coming back. High satisfaction does not always guarantee strong retention. There may be external factors that can affect a customer decision to return. This means businesses should not rely solely on satisfaction surveys. To truly retain customer, they need to focus on building long-term relationship. This can include strategies such as reward programs and ongoing engagement. In summary, our analysis of depression show that while satisfaction is relatively stable across companies, retention is much more varied and harder to achieve. Businesses may be aware of this gap and take action to strengthen loyalty, not just satisfaction. Thank you.
Hello everyone. I will present the measure of association between customer satisfaction score and customer retention rate using covariance and correlation coefficient. The mean and the standard deviation for both metrics will be used to calculate the covariance and correlation coefficient. Okay, next we calculate the covariance. First, we must assume that the customer satisfaction score is X and the customer retention rate is Y. So the first step is to minus the customer satisfaction score with its mean and the customer retention rate with its mean, and then we multiply it and then we get the answer. Then after we get all the answer for the two metrics, we sum up it and then we get the total, that is 1154.65. Okay, after we calculate the covariance and the correlation coefficient, we find the covariance value is 39.82. That means is a positive value, shows that the both metrics is increased, and the satisfaction customer brings a higher chance of being retained. Next, the correlation coefficient value is 0.947. That means it has a strong positive relationship. This means as a satisfaction goes up and the retention also goes up. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.